Episode 347 of the Too Thick Pod, your home for all things sports, cards, and levity. I am Jeremy, joined as always by Manuel.
What's up? How are you today? I'm pumped. Sunday, football, soccer, Real Madrid, Barcelona happened, and I get to top the day off of talking with my good friend Jeremy. Yep.
Kid, it's 9 o'clock. PWCC extended bidding starts in 1 hour. I am excited. The soccer game was a waste of time. The Bulls game was awesome. And then the Vikings do what the Vikings do best and lose a game that they should have won.
Hey, everyone was making cracks and jokes about the NFC East. Can't make jokes when it's a giant. Well, you can if the Cowboys lose tomorrow, but if the Cowboys win, you got Cowboys, Giants, and Eagles all making it to the divisional round.
Yeah, and how about the early game with the the Dolphins with like a ninth string quarterback, making it a little more interesting than anybody expected. Especially after Buffalo jumped out to like a 17-0 lead.
Yeah, 17-0. And people were having deja vu probably because of last night with the Jags and Chargers. People's hometown favorite collector, hobby hero, Justin Herbert, going up 27-0 and then losing by a winning field goal.
There was a guy, and this is confirmed, he bet like when they were up 27-0, bet like $1.3 or $1.4 million. And had he won, he would have won a measly $11,000.
Why would you do that?
And Trevor Lawrence and his flowing hair came back and got the dub for the Jags.
Dude, that game was crazy. But you're going to see a ton of people pissed off and ton of people. That Justin Herbert's market is going like this, while Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones is going like that. It's crazy how the playoffs can affect card market values.
I will be buying Justin Herbert in approximately 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's smart because towards the beginning of the season, spring training, everyone's going to be like, Herbert, he's one of the best. He's going to win the AFC West again.
The games he won this year with like no weapons, and I don't know what the hell's going on at the head coach position for them. The kid can play football, man. And so there's going to be an overreaction as always. So I'm just looking forward to it. It's nice, relaxing, kind of just paying attention to what my Bears are going to do, because I don't think we need a quarterback. So I think we're going to be in a position to trade back, pick up some draft capital, some additional assets, and go into next year absolutely loaded. And I will add, the NFL is huge on parity. So it wouldn't surprise me for my 1 year from now, we're talking about Justin Fields, the greatest quarterback in the NFL, doing the damn thing.
I would say if I were your guys' shoes, I'd tell every team, oh, we're getting a quarterback. Justin Fields not our guy, to get to up that trade value to that number one pick.
Hey, mark this. They might be able to trade back 2 or 3 times and still get the guy that they want. Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that. Oh, so
I've watched a couple of mock drafts from a couple of articles where it lays out very nicely. And this isn't like pie in the sky, but these are like realistic options. Obviously, a lot can change between now and then. You're going to have the combine, individual workouts, interviews with the teams. But if somebody determines they want their guy and they want to jump up to that number one spot, now a lot of this is contingent on, whether or not Houston thinks that Davis Mills is the guy.
No, they don't. That's the key for you guys, though. I don't know why they won, because everyone knows Davis Mills is not the guy and that Houston wants a quarterback. So they're going to try to trade up in front of Houston to get their quarterback if they want it. That's why
I don't know why anybody's surprised about the outcome of the game. And if you're not paying attention, that's who Lovie Smith is. He's not the one that's going to, try to lose games or do anything like that. He's going to do the best he can with what he has. He's been pretty consistent about that. So the fact that anybody's completely shocked, you know what they could have done if they were worried about this? They should have fired him before the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Suspended him with pay and get a yes man in there to make sure that the Texans lose that game. They didn't do that. So anybody mad at Lovie, what the hell? He's shown who he is.
Can you believe that he wins the game and gets fired right after he wins the game.
Yeah, I mean, I can. That team was pretty brutal, and despite having you, not a lot of talent, that was like the most Lovey Smith thing too, because the guys would always play for him. He was
Oh,
a relatively good leader of men. Unfortunately, I think the Tampa 2 can be picked apart, and if you don't have the right weapons, especially a middle linebacker who can drop back in coverage, and then if you have absolutely no offense, you're not going to win a lot of games in this current NFL.
well, did he coach your guys' Super Bowl run team? Was that him?
Which
What?
one?
Oh, sorry. Which one?
When,
Sorry,
when you say
sorry.
when you say when, okay, so
We're
when you
not all
say
Bears
run,
fans here.
when you say run, are you talking actually making it to the Super Bowl? Because yeah, when we lost to the Colts, he was
Yeah.
the head coach.
Okay.
Matt Nagy was the head coach during the double doink.
Matt, did you see the new the thing where it came out, the documentary, or it was a commercial or somewhere? I saw a video of saying it wasn't his fault. Was it Parkey? It wasn't his fault. It was tipped. The guy tipped it at the line, and that's where the double doink happened. And you Chicago fans were giving this kicker death threats because he missed the field goal by double doinking, but it got tipped.
Did you see how many times that dude hit a post?
It was a magnet.
You know what I mean? And hell, you could argue that it was going to be shanked completely left, and if it wasn't for the tip, it wouldn't have even close to being competitive. And I'm not trying to relive. That was just a terrible day. What people forget is Mitch Trubisky made an incredible throw to put said Chicago Bears in field goal position, and then it's just painful times, man. Just painful damn times.
Before we get off the NFL and your Bears, I have a question. If you're a Bears fan or a Chargers fan, which one would you rather be? Like before the playoffs, being a team that's going to lose in the first round of the playoffs, or be the team that gets the first round pick? I'm always curious.
If you're not competing for a Super Bowl, what the hell are you doing? Be in middle of the pack or be in like just a waste of time where you're losing out in draft position makes absolutely no sense for me. Like I want to win Super Bowls. So the fact that we weren't going to win a Super Bowl this year, you want to see development from players. You want to see good strategy. You want to see some of those things. Meanwhile, you want those losses. You want those damn losses. And so I was actually pretty happy because the guys played very well for Eberflus. They're going to have well over $100 million in salary cap money to go out and spend, get some talent. They've got some draft capital, which they haven't had in recent years. So they're situated to have a very nice offseason. And I will say all that while acknowledging that potentially trading a second-round pick for Chase Claypool, who hasn't done a damn thing or who didn't do a damn thing, I'm mindful of that. I'm not getting that front office. I'm not giving them a free pass.
Yeah, of course. And I do want to, like I said, before we wrap off NFL, I've seen, I don't know if you've seen it, a lot of hype on these playoff games. It seems like a lot of people are trying to sell off some of their cards. If you're a buyer of NFL or any type of, like your NBA, I would tell me if this is your opinion. This is me trying to talk about how I should not take losses. I shouldn't be buying any of these quarterbacks that are in the playoffs right now, right? Because
I wouldn't.
I know, like Trevor Lawrence cards went up, skyrocketed. Daniel Jones is starting to go up because they just beat the Vikings. It's just in my head, I'm like, why buy now? And why are people buying now? It doesn't make sense to me because it seems like a lot of people are trying to sell.
I don't think people, I think there's a certain sector in the hobby that's perfectly content just doing whatever they feel in that moment, which is perfectly fine. I want to be clear that I am not shit talking in any way.
No.
But sometimes people just want to buy cards when they want to buy cards and they don't think it through. And so I've gone to the extreme where I'm so adamant that I'm going to buy in the offseason unless it's a complete steal that it does seem outlandish to me. But hey, to each their own.
Well, your profile is a less risk, more reward, right? Or less risk. You're not going to get top dollar on a card because you're going to sell them off before they kind of get to that point. While these people, I'm assuming, like to live on the edge, and they're probably buying like Trevor Lawrence, thinking that he's going to make the Super Bowl. then they could sell off like in a week or so. And that's kind of where I think some people, it just depends on how risky you want to be.
Yeah, but I mean, right after Pat Mahomes won the Super Bowl, his stuff right down,
Yep. So what do?
right
Do you
down.
buy the day of the Super Bowl? The next
No,
day?
you just wait, man. You just wait.
Hmm.
Pay attention to who's buying and selling these things. If it's a big shark who has a big bankroll who can buy something and hold it until, next year. But if it's somebody who only has limited funds and they buy it, all of a sudden they are going to be completely hamstrung because they don't have the bankroll to do anything else. So
I like
those are the people I'll be looking to buy from.
I like it because when you go on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter, all I'm seeing right now is Trevor Lawrence, Daniel Jones. These quarterbacks are in the playoffs, so be mindful. I kind of want to bring it up too because I fell into that same loophole because I see it and I'm like, ooh, I should get me a good one, but you could get screwed buying right now, so don't do it.
How about all the people that were buying Lamar Jackson over the last few weeks, getting ready for a playoff run, and then week one tonight, game just started, and he's not playing against Cincinnati.
No, he's gonna be healthy right after they lose. He wants his contract. He said, "I'm not playing again until I get my contract." He'll
No, I
probably
really that dude has always bet on himself,
Yep.
and I have no doubt that if he was good enough to go, he would go.
You think so?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I mean, they have a
oh yeah.
decent team with him. That team is a way different team with him than without. And whoever gets him next year, probably not the Ravens, is gonna love it. Imagine him with their. I mean, we see him all the time because we're in Michigan, but imagine Lamar Jackson with the Detroit Lions.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think the Lions are very happy with Jared Goff. He put up incredible numbers the last 7-8 weeks of the season, and yeah, I don't think you could touch that Detroit team. They're walking around town like they just won the damn Super Bowl. That is a pumped group of people.
It's so funny. They had a winning record in the last like 10 years, and now they're strutting their stuff. How they're gonna win the Super Bowl next year. I love Lions
So
fans.
yeah, some Lions fans like, yeah, we're a lot like Cubs fans, and I was like, well, in 2016 the Cubs won the World Series. I don't recall the Lions winning the Super Bowl in the last few years, so let's not put one another on the same playing field, my friend.
That's awesome. I do want to bring up Com. We talked about this in prior shows. COMC, Jeremy and I. Jeremy did it like 3 weeks in prior, but I've been procrastinating, so I want to talk it up. If you haven't sent cards to COMC, that shit is easy. Just don't procrastinate like me. You literally put the little you go online, you put how much quantity cards, what the estimated value, you get a slip that you put in a box, and you're good to go. I thought you had to inventory everything. I was like, I was dreading inventory everything. That's why I was procrastinating, to be honest with you, until Jeremy told me to get my ass in shape and do it. But as I was doing it, I found a fake card that I bought 2 years ago. I want to bring that up. Look at this.
So hold on. Before you go into the fake card, the ComC thing, I
Yeah.
think what we'll do is I want to just preface, or I just want to give clarity on this. So Trees Collectibles is over there making millions and billions of dollars slanging cards in ComC. And quite frankly, it's something that I've never even touched. I listened to a podcast by the Real 27 guy talking about ComC. I got a little bit familiar with it, watched some videos, and ultimately I've got let's just say 55-roll boxes of cards
Yep.
just filled. And these aren't cards that I ever think about. And I have like a little bit of OCD. So it bothers me that I have all these cards here and they're not doing anything. They're not being listed to sale. They're not being sorted through for grading. They're just sitting there. So I look at it as money just parked that I could be using for something else, whether it's personal, whether it's for reckless cards, whether it's for Too Thick Pod, whether it's to buy myself a watch. It's just sitting there. So chatted with Trees, kind of gave us the rundown. And so what I did was for Jeremy, for Reckless Cards, we just went through and I just started pulling out cards that I thought were between like $2 and $10.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't. I put them in penny sleeves, and we pulled out like maybe 210 to 240. I don't even remember. Printed them off and shipped them away. And so I'm telling you that because to me, these were cards that were out of mind that we weren't even thinking about. So if something did happen, yeah, that would suck and that would be terrible. And I'm sure from a bookkeeping and insurance perspective, it would probably behoove me to have some sort of inventory. But just to get the ball rolling, I
Mm-hmm.
just took them out, paid no attention to what's in there. I've got an idea of like a few cards that were in there, but as I was just going through, boom, 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 shipped them out. Super disappointed to hear that Manny, who was way ahead of me 2-3 weeks ago when we started this, calls me today that tells me he hasn't even shipped them out yet and mine have been shipped for a week.
No, I did drop the ball on that. It's all my fault. I was dreading actually like inventorying them, and when I do, I'm weird. When I do something for the first time, I want to make sure it's perfect. I'm a perfectionist. So every step I have to get an answer before I go to the next step. It's probably something wrong with my head. Um, so I was stuck on that estimated value because I was like, okay, does it want me to tell you how much? Because it's so background. It's 50 cents a card for the standard fees. So you kind
No,
of want.
that's just for the ingestion.
Yeah, yeah. So that's that, and then there's a seller's fee, right? That's like around.
Yeah.
It depends on what it sells, but it could be like as much as like 30% on a dollar card, right? If I got that correctly.
No, I think you got that incorrectly.
Oh, okay. Well, let's erase
It
that.
it depends on like so it depends on the actual value of the card, what it sells
Yeah.
at. Because let's say it's $1 card, you pay 50 cents for the ingestion fee, and then let's say it's a 5%, or let's just say it's 10%. At that point, all
Oh,
in, you're
right.
55. So it depends on the value of the card.
You're right.
There is a percentage. And then I think what we're going to get clarity on, and we'll share, as we go through this, we'll share the good, the bad, the ugly is I believe there's an additional like 5 or 10% fee if you try to take it out in cash.
Yep.
So like it really makes sense to keep it as COMC credit and use that to buy cards.
Yeah, and that's what Trees does. He basically just it's like it's kind of cool how he explained it to me. Trees was basically saying it's like you're trading, it's a trading site. Like you're trading your cards for bigger cards. You're trading up. It's a trade up challenge, really, with COMC. And I was looking at the
Well,
videos and people were complaining about prices too. Like sometimes they were saying like the fees, like you're 50% off a dollar card. But if you don't have the opportunity of like Jeremy and Reckless, how they go to card shows and sell on like dollar bins or quarter bins or 50-cent bins, this is a perfect opportunity for you to get your stuff out in bulk that you're just sitting on, like you said.
one like 100%. It's just sitting here. I'm not using it. I'm gonna put it up there. I am like if every card because they post it for you. They do all the legwork, and as I see what stuff is going for, if the average sale of everything's at $4, I'm gonna post mine at 475, and I'll probably take any offer that's even remotely close because again, these are cards that aren't being graded. I'm not interested in. There's some cool stuff. I don't want to just say they're crap, but I think it's cool. And I would also add, and I might be a little hazy on the details, so take this with a grain of salt. But it is my understanding that if you have a COMC account and you see something posted on eBay that is through COMC, you can actually go directly to COMC and get the same exact card for a little bit cheaper and cut out paying, their markup to go through eBay. Not sure about that, but I think I understood that correctly.
I think you're right. I heard that as well. So that's a little tip on eBay tip. If you ever see cards on COMC, just go to COMC and get it for cheaper. I think Trees told me that through DM. So I did want to bring it up. It kind of led me to this fake card that I have. I actually sent Jeremy. I sent 196 cards.
Right on.
So I'm right where you are. So let's see. In a month, they say it takes like 3 to 4 weeks for them to like start uploading their cards, and then you go through and you put your price point. So when we start selling, we'll kind of give you a step by step on how our effect is on COMC, if we like it, if we don't like it.
I'm hopeful that it operates the way that I think it does in my mind because I think this year we're going to go away from the dollar boxes and the quarter boxes it shows, just because it's not that I don't like doing it. I absolutely love doing it, but for me, when there's outstanding items that need to be done, it makes me absolutely insane. I get like very anxious, and then I'm a bear around everybody. It's like, we have to prepare this, we have to go through this, we have to go through this. The idea, and we'll probably, well, the idea is to like maybe just have like a Zion case to fill up enough, like a couple of showcases, and then just really focus on buying. And that excites me more, because for us, show prep, we put so much time and effort into show prep that at the lead up to the show actually becomes quite tedious, and really focusing on 23, like enjoying life a little bit more and having some more fun. So I think this will be a good way for us to continue to churn inventory and still be active without stressing ourselves out.
I agree too, because I was not on your aspect of stressed out, but when I was at Shipshawana watching your table, I was more stressed out watching those quarter bins because it's easy for someone to take rather than looking at the big cards as well. So it would take a lot of stress out because you don't have, they're not in cases, right? So anyone could just yoink all your cards. And I didn't
Yeah,
want
so I'm going to tell a funny story. The last Shipshawana, when everybody got sick, we got back to the hotel at like after trade night, had an awesome trade night, and I was riding high because we had just gotten a sub back from TNT, and we had cracked a bunch of like SGC stuff and submitted to PSA, and it came back as like tens. It was just a real solid return. But I had probably 150 cards to price, and I stayed up till like 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning, pricing 50-cent cards to $5 cards, putting them in top loaders, putting them in team bags, and gunning them. And then everybody got sick, and we ended up not being able to go to the show. And so I was just like, man, so much effort for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
For nothing. And then sometimes I wonder, like, do people even recognize? I'm sure like certain people do, but the effort truly is not worth the result that you're getting. So I love doing the dollar boxes. I love doing the quarter boxes, but I think we got a lot of them. We're probably going to try to either donate some of them to some like schools that are doing some stuff with cards, but also like, for some local card shops, maybe sell them for like legitimately like pennies on the dollar, so they have some inventory.
That's awesome. You guys are good hearted. I do want to bring up too, if you don't know Jeremy in person, the guy would give his shirt off his back. He came and he grabbed my cards because I couldn't sell them, and now he's trying to sell them for me. What a guy, right? I
Teamwork,
know.
baby. Teamwork.
It makes the dream work. And then
Teamwork.
on the opposite side of the hobby, everyone.
Well, here's the thing. You're my friend, and you're hamstrung by these cards. And clearly, you'll call me to tell me that you're at Kane's Chicken for the 14th time, but you won't do anything to help yourself in selling some cards. So it's kind of like, let me help you. So
I don't want to
trying to do.
My mom wanted to see her grandchildren, so I brought my children to her, and me and Kaylee finally had 20 minutes to go get some food and come back to the kids. So
isn't that wild?
Yeah.
You know what me and Court did today? We went on a coffee date, and we found this dope spot in Fenton. Had a couple cups of coffee, and then we found a new card shop that just opened in Fenton.
Really?
Stopped by there. Yeah, bought some. We always buy stuff when we go into a new shop to show some love and some support. And then, but again, we were only gone for like an hour and a half. But
and it makes the day, doesn't it?
Oh my god,
that's I love my kids to death. Don't get me wrong, but man, the 20 minutes of just going to pick up food with just your wife, and we had a Cane's date was awesome. So
well, let me tell you something. I am incredibly loud. Okay.
Yeah.
I am freaking loud. Courtney is absolutely loud. Amelia, co-member of the Vagina Boys, is loud. And then Kaya and Lala are mine and Courtney, all of our greatest traits and all of our worst traits, all wrapped up into one. So they are absolute, from the time they wake up till the time they go to bed, they are animals. So that little hour seems like 5 hours, and we're just like, oh my God, I needed this.
I can only imagine the household when you have music blaring and everyone's just yelling and singing. It's probably
That's
the best
awesome.
time, to be honest with you. But yeah,
Yep.
Jeremy, fake card I bought 2 years ago. I was going through my boxes. Look at this. Usually these are die cuts. I wanted to collect the set.
Yeah.
I turned it around. There is nothing on the back. Maybe it's an error card. Maybe they didn't die. I don't know. If someone knows, this definitely seems fake to me. And I spent good amount, not great. Like I spent $80 on it when I bought it. And I'm pretty upset about it when I found it. Another L. Manny taking another L. That's
So
almost
I've
an L.
so I've got one right here. I'm submitting it, but I
Ooh,
suspect it's going to be a fake.
really?
It
That's
just
that's
seems too good to me.
true rookie. The
That's
true rookie.
that's the Jordan Nike promo. And we shall see. But you know what? It's funny is we're getting ready to do a roundtable for Hobby Night School with Denny's Cards and Sports Card Stallion to talk about spotting fakes. Because one thing that Alex from Sports Card Stallion has done a really good job of is pointing out the stuff that's being made on Etsy and some of these cards that, for the average person, and I was one of those people up until, man, not too long ago, where you see something, you get excited, you smash the bin button, or you make a bid, and then you realize, oh, crap, I have a card. And the details or the things that would suggest that it's not real are so subtle that the average person misses out on. So I definitely think there needs to be a high level spotlight on fake cards
Oh yeah,
around.
for sure. Especially the hobby got bigger, just like shoes. There's fake shoes everywhere. And I mean, same thing's gonna happen when your hobby gets big. Someone's gonna try to pawn off. Remember a Dallas card show I think it was a year ago, someone was trying to sell fake Michael Jordan rookies, and everyone was chasing them out of the Dallas card show.
Dude, or how about now? You've got an exquisite LeBron patch that you have prominent figures in the hobby, and I'm just going to say Probstein, who puts on a very compelling video. Now, I'm saying I don't know whether or not any of this is true,
No.
but he puts on a video, and you're like, if I'm an average person, I'm like, oh, okay, that's legitimate. Without doing the homework, there's allegedly, a letter from Upper Deck that says it's authentic. This card's real.
And you got
Then
Bruce
you,
Wayne on the case.
yeah, then you've got card porn, and they're saying it's not real. Now, what I think is fascinating, and again, I'm not a lawyer, is the people who are trying to sell this LeBron are going after card porn because they're like essentially, without getting into the details, and this is poorly worded. Basically, they're like, man, you guys are manipulating, controlling the market. You're fucking with my pocketbook, son.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
Shut up.
Well, didn't Ken
just shut
Goldman
up,
want his money too for like the actual auction as well? So like he's in it as well.
dude. I don't want to get into all that. All I know, but that's result in lawsuit. So you got everybody suing everybody. But point being is, unfortunately, I think the hobby is a much shittier space than what we think it is. I think we all feel good and we're like, oh, it's great. And there's some nostalgia. There's some good memories when we were kids. And then like everybody hides behind kids, but there's just a lot of fucking sleazeballs, man, that are just trying to make money off of one another. And I say this because I'm just gonna stop. I don't think it's nearly as wholesome. Just follow the money, man. You follow the money, and you can see there's a lot of people whose words don't match their actions.
Well, we're just minnows swimming in with a bunch of sharks, so we don't see all the stuff that actually goes down behind in the boats, the wreck ship.
No, it's the importance of creating relationships and treating people well. I think Brandon talked about it last week, and it's like he said, our circle. And it's like the people that we deal with. Like, I know that if I have a question about something, I've got people who are going to look out for me and answer my questions. I know that if I'm getting ready to drop a significant amount of money, I've got people who are going to look out for me and answer my questions. I know that if I'm getting ready to drop a significant amount of money, I've got people who are going to look out for me and answer my questions. I know that if I'm getting ready to drop a significant amount of money, I've got people who are going to look out for me and answer my questions. I know that if I'm getting ready to drop a significant amount of money, I've got people who are going to look out for me and answer my questions. I know that if I'm getting ready to drop a significant amount of money, I've got people who are going to look out for me and answer my questions. I know that if I'm getting ready to drop a significant amount of money, I've got people who are going to look out for me and answer my questions. I know that if I'm getting ready to drop a significant amount of money, I've got people who are going to look out for me and answer my questions. I know that if I'm getting ready to drop a significant amount of money, I've got people who are going to look out for me and answer my questions. I know there's people I can trust. They're going to say, hey, that's a great idea, or that's a bad idea, or hey, here's some resources, or hey, avoid that person. And that's impactful. We've got some legitimate money. I don't want to say tied up. We've got some legitimate money in cards. And I would feel like hell, like it wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would just be like disappointing because we've worked really hard for what we have. And so just seeing it happen to people who don't have the means and who can't afford to take an L like that, just it's like kind of shitty. Do better, hobby. Be better, hobby.
Exactly. Well, hey, you could cancel the rumors of Ken Golden being card porn because he's not going after himself, right? So he's not card porn.
No. These guys who are trying to sell the LeBron are suing card porn.
Yeah, but I think Ken is with the guys because it was on his platform.
I don't know, man.
We don't know. We're just, like I said, we're minnows.
Why are we minnows?
I mean, we're flounders then, right? Clownfish. We're the clownfish. We're Nemo and the dad. In this
Why?
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't get involved in that crap.
So?
Okay. You want me to be honest? You're more of like, if they're whales, you're probably like a hammerhead shark, and I'm the minnow that's attached to you. You know, the one that is just swimming with you?
See, here's the thing. You're referring to people who are making their livelihood in this place. We are just fun, active participants who are having a good time. But we're also mindful that like there's some fuckery afoot, and we want to look out for those other people.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you one thing I saw recently at a show that really like bothered me is there was like not a lot of movement going. Wasn't a lot of cash at the table. And I'm saying this because I want to talk about Dallas because I heard Dallas was popping and I really did have some FOMO. But too. I'm at this show and it was just painful to see these guys with a card like this. Let's just say this is a Kobe White hoops card. Probably worth a quarter, if that.
Yeah.
With a $5 sticker on it, telling these unsuspecting people, you know what? I'll give it to you for $2.50. I'm giving you half off. There were and these kids and these unsuspecting parents, and it's like, well, it's $2. Like, $2 is,
Yeah.
And it was like, I wanted to be like, what the hell are you doing, man?
Exactly.
What the hell's wrong with you? Like, that's the way you're gonna operate. It's bothersome, and I don't know what's the right way to conduct yourself because it's not my place to step in.
No.
And is $2 on a hoops rated rookie Kobe White card extreme? It's pretty bad. I don't know if I would say extreme. And I also think there's like, as a participant, you probably have to get burned a couple times to learn. I just hope it's not to the extent where they don't want to come back.
Yeah. You want to hope they're Manny and gets burned every time and stick with
it. Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, it happens, but it's the principle. Like, even if it's $2, it's the principle of it. Like,
here's the thing. You're a grown-ass man who's got your own money. You also have, of all the resources and the tools that are available. If you choose not to use them, some of that pain is self-inflicted.
Well, I do.
Like, if you can look up the value of a card and you choose not to, like, you know what I mean? We own that. I do that sometimes too. Like, oh shit, I should have checked the checklist. I didn't realize there was 19 one-of-ones. I just overpaid for this particular one-of-one. I'm just saying there's just what Brandon said last week about like in the TCG community relative to the hobby community, it really rings true, man. Mm-hmm. And not that, and I can't, assuming that what he says is true because I'm only dabbling in the TCG community with my black labels.
I know, just dabbling. You got 2 black labels.
Just dabbling.
No big deal.
But when you see people taking shortcuts or willing to rip somebody off for an extra buck in their own pocket, you can miss me with that.
Oh yeah. And shout out to Brandon. Well, actually, he's been putting me down a loophole. I might be dabbling more and more into TCG in the future, and I'll keep you heads up because I've been watching a couple shows that he's been telling me to, and I've been staying up till 2 in the morning watching these shows. So thank you,
So,
Brandon.
we were just talking about COMC,
Yeah.
right? And it was like 3-4 weeks, and you're like, oh, I got to be perfect. Off for grading tomorrow.
Where'd you get those? You don't even know who they are. What?
I have no idea who they
What
are.
anime?
I think they're Dragon Ball Z.
I'm clipping this and sending it to
Off to BGS tomorrow, my friend.
No, it is. It's you got to find, like, going back. You got to find your circle, and I found you. We have our little circle as well that we could ask and talk to. So if you're in the hobby, have questions. If you want to learn how not to lose, you could get a hold of me. And I just want to kind of end this segment. And if you want to actually an expert's analysis, get a hold of Jeremy. So
No, I hold on. There's a point I want to make though. Is sometimes tasks in this hobby, i.e., grading, submitting cards for COMC, doing all these sorts of things, seem intimidating because you've never done them before. And I remember the first time I graded cards, it took me like 3 weeks to pull the trigger. And I was like, and I don't know why, because now it's such a simple process. I don't know what the hell took me so long, why I waited. And you know what? Had I done it when I first wanted to, that big batch of cards that got stuck at PSA during the hype, I would have had those back, and I might not even be talking to you. So I guess, the Lord works in mysterious ways, as they would say. But, like for you pushed off COMC because you thought it was going to be this crazy thing. And then once you got in, you dove head first. You're like, oh, wow, that was easy. I wish I would have done that a few weeks ago. So, like, what I've learned in life, and this has worked for me, and not always, but sometimes just dive in, man. Just take some action and let's see what happens, because I'm a hands-on learner. So if I do something wrong, I'll share it. If not, but yeah, to Manny's point, please reach out if you need help with anything. We try to make ourselves available as much as possible, whether it's me, Manny, or Courtney. We'll help you out. And if we can't, we'll definitely point you in the right direction.
Yeah, exactly. We'll point you to Courtney. She's the one that actually knows everything. So
Yeah.
Did you want to get into like how boxes from Panini, you maybe be able to see what's actually in the boxes?
Yeah, there was an article on Sports Card Radio, and you know what? I used to think that those guys were just trolling. Now I think that they do an incredible job of sharing some stuff, and I also think they do it in a way that they're really smart about trying to get under people's skin. But if you recall, we had the alleged fiasco where you could pick out the kabooms in the Crown Royal boxes based on a numbering sequence on this.
Yep.
Well, there's a guy who has been, I want to say, the article goes on to say he's been between like 80 and 85% in determining which products for the 2022 release of Formula One, which ones have the autographs. And so, we can go to sportscardradio.com. They've got the article up and check it out. But I tend to believe where there's smoke, there's fire. And I'm not saying that like Panini's maliciously doing this or Topps, excuse me. But they label everything. There's always the numbers stamped on the inside of your box. Mm-hmm. And that's not just for shits and giggles. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that somebody's able to identify where things are going to be.
Yeah, it looks like on the Formula One, it's this sticker. When they had the sticker, the QR code on the back gave away what was inside the box.
Oh, wow. That's pretty easy.
So this person said, I bought 6 for myself today, missed one auto, still hit an art, called about 15 other in randoms with 80% win rate. That's why I'm telling you guys. So basically, he figured out there's some freaking, like, I joke about it, but there's definitely some like Sherlock Holmes in this community that could figure this stuff out. Because when you're looking at boxes, do you like, oh, what's this? When you're online, oh, what's the serial number of this? Trying to figure it out. So yeah, F1. if you're buying F1 and it has that QR code, you can see what's actually in it.
You know, if you in my industry, I've been in it for almost 20 years.
Yep.
And so I pick up on the most subtle I like, at least I like to believe that I do. I
Mm-hmm.
pick up on the most subtle details that a new entrance to our space wouldn't necessarily pick up on.
Yeah.
So I'm sure, like, and I never was around or I didn't participate in the blowout forum days, breaker TV. So if you've been in this space for a long time, I think you kind of have an idea sometimes of what's going on or who's doing what. And so, I walk to National with some old timers who I believe to be trustworthy people, down to earth, good people, and they kind of give us the 411 on who's who and what's what. And I've never repeated that, nor will I, out of respect for the relationship.
Yeah.
But um, again, if you've heard, I've been a little bit more down on the hobby today than I normally am. And to be clear, I'm still happy and, I want to look out for other people. I don't think it's as clean and wholesome as we like to believe it is.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And you also had 3 coffees, Starbucks coffees instead of 4.
No, I went to this dope little coffee bar, man. It was like a coffee bar / real bar. Had a cool vibe. It was dope.
I gotta tell a story about on the coffee. So I called Jeremy yesterday, and he's in the Starbucks line. Well, the one next to his house, you can't get out of the line. You can't get out of the line unless you go through all the way. Well, he got to the actual got to the microphone and intercom, and they're like, they're out of nitro. So Jeremy was stuck in this line for like 20 minutes, pissed off because he couldn't get out to go to another Starbucks, like 15 minutes down the road.
Bro, I feel for the poor baristas, man, because I swear their machine is broken down like every damn time. Like it's a coin flip if I'm going to be able to get a nitro. So then I drive a town over to the other Starbucks and get nitro. I was gone. The Starbucks is only like 5 minutes from my house. I was gone like an hour and 15 minutes to get a nitro and a peach tea for court. And I brought the dogs with, so I got them puppuccinos. So that
What
was
a nice guy.
Yeah, it was good for them, I suppose.
But on the phone with Jeremy, it was hilarious. He turned instant diva. He couldn't get out of line. I love it.
Dude, it was stuck. And then they always try offering me something that's not even remotely close to a nitro. They're like, do you want an iced coffee? And we'll throw some shots in. I'm like, no, is that infused with nitrogen? They're like, no. Then I'm like, no, I do not want that.
I'm not a coffee. What's the nitro do?
I like it, man. It's good tasting. It's got a little bit higher caffeine content, but I like the taste, man.
Are you a nitro beer drinker too?
No.
No? So just a coffee? Okay.
I don't even drink beer anymore, man. I quit drinking beer.
You haven't had a Michelob? When was the last one?
Sometime last year.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Everyone, give it up.
Yeah. I'm going to go when I'm going to try doing the scotch and whiskey thing, I believe.
Okay. There you go. That's going to get more fucked up, but okay.
Well, here's the thing. I don't like to be fucked up, but I also think there's a certain level of class. You can't show up everywhere always drinking Mick Ultras. But I'll tell you what, I this is how much I like the taste of beer, man. I tried drinking like a margarita, and that shit was disgusting. I had them pouring Sprite or some shit in it to make it.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Kaylee has Marg nights with her friends, and I'm like, that's the worst thing impossible.
Oh, it's brutal. Absolutely brutal. Hard pass on the Marg nights.
Yeah. Hey, you should tell. So I'm a walking L. You should give out one of your L's of what you did.
Yeah, I'm a lemon of the week or tomato of the week or whatever the hell they say in New Zealand.
New Zealand.
Shout out Saucy and the other one.
Richard. Yeah, Richard.
Richard. Yeah, Richard. I was doing a bulk edit on eBay, which I've never done before. And I'm like, oh, this is nice. And so any postings that were maybe a little stale or hadn't gotten a lot of activity in the last, let's say, 48 to 72 hours, I went to adjust all the pricing. Raka, right down. Hit it. Went upstairs to grab a water, came down, and a card had sold, and the buyer paid like right away. And I'm like, hell yeah. And I'm like, what card did I sell? Buy it now for $27. And then I realized the card that was supposed to be $270 was at 27. So I MF'd myself and I just thought, okay, what do I do? Obviously, I know that I can, this is eBay. You can do whatever the hell you want. I can cancel it and nothing's going to happen. But I don't roll like that. So I took a minute and I'm like, you know what? Honesty and transparency is always the best. So I said, hey, what's going on? Happy Sunday. Hope you're well. I'm stupid. This is what happened. However, I've never done this before. I don't know what the proper etiquette is. How would you like to handle this? I mean, like, obviously, I know you want the card, and I don't blame you because if the roles reversed, I'd want the card too. But if you look at my page, this is clearly a mistake. What can we do? And the guy responded like right away, and he's like, and I had the message popped up. Now I'm one of those people, like if the message pops up and I even perceive that it's going to be not sunshines and rainbows, I pause for a minute and I allow myself to think of every worst case scenario. He hates me. They're going to blow up my house. Like my perfect score is gone. My wife is going to leave me. I let all these, normal thoughts run through my head. And it was simply like, what's up, bro? Hey, yeah, I've made mistakes too. Just cancel it, no big deal. And like I just responded with something like very gracious, like, hey, I'm so happy there's still good people. However, as a result of my beat a dumbass, what's your PayPal? I want to send you, 20, 30, 40 bucks for being a good person. Because I think if you promote and motivate people to be good, it'll spread like wildfire. I might be crazy. And then he absolutely refused because he's just like, no, he's like, I promise I've made my fair share of mistakes. It's all good. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, follow us. And if you ever want anything, here's the Insta, reach out and I'll do whatever in my power to help. So shout out to that guy. And then also me who preaches attention to detail to make a stupid ass mistake like that. Not a good look, man. Not a good look.
So moral of the story is to hit that follow button on Jeremy's eBay and just be ready for price changes and watch everything. So then you could buy it, but then you could say no and he'll Venmo you or PayPal you money. So you'll get money.
Come on, man. I mean, like, I want to share that because stuff happens in the hobby and like sometimes you just don't know how to handle it.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Perfect, it shows that even Mr. Perfect can make a mistake.
I've never once claimed to be perfect. I pride myself on being an asshole and just sharing it with everybody. An asshole, not like not in the
You're
sense
not an asshole.
Like just an idiot. Just not very bright.
Oh, but to us together, we're like two negatives make a positive, right? A little bit.
Yeah. Maybe.
Before we go, Jeremy, I do want to show something that I'm actually enjoying in the hobby. Since you've been down that whole episode of what I've been buying, and I don't think I mean you've seen it on eBay, but people shitted on these cards in 2020 because it lost a lot of people money. And I've been buying them when I like them, and I think I'm gonna get like a wall and just put all like the artists on it. But these Project 22 cards, they're like $10, and they're sweet. They're like limited numbered because it's tops. It's like a tops now. You buy, they only send out what people bought, right? And it's the soccer ones, and I've enjoyed getting people that I like in soccer, like Messi and all this. And I want to get like a little wall thing and have all my Project 22 on there. I know what I'll say is Project 2020, the baseball, everyone thought that was going to be the biggest thing in the world. Everyone was trying to flip it and everyone lost their asses. And I know a lot of people get bad rep, but these are actually kind of cool to have. Like it's artists that create it. And there's one that's Tyson Beck. He's Australian. He's good friends with Dama and Sauce. And he has some cards in this too. So it's pretty cool. I just wanted to bring that up.
If you look above my head, you can see like two notches, one right there.
Yep.
And one right there. and there's normally a showcase, and the showcase came down, but we actually have probably enough tops 2020 and 2022 or whatever they are, top 70. I
Yeah.
forget. There's been so many where Courtney collects them because she's huge into artwork. And
Yeah.
then like when you get like a sports card or a artist in sports, like we have a ton of them. So I do think that they're dope. I think the soccer ones are badass. On a side note, I ordered some cards off eBay, and they came in, and it took forever for the cards to get here. And I'm not complaining about that, but I remember I claimed a Michael. Who's your guy? Michael. Who's your soccer player? I forget his name.
Frederico?
Chiesa?
Chiesa? This
Frederico.
guy.
Yeah,
Frederico.
Frederico. And I remember I claimed it. You're like, oh, thanks a lot. Well, it came and the card wasn't in there. And the person who
Oh,
sold them is just like, it was like a $10 card, but I'm like, whatever. I'm just gonna let it roll.
what a bastard. No, like this
Yeah.
project, I don't know how long, because I know they usually do the year that the project 22, right? But this is still having cards. I want to show like the new ones. So you got to go to Tops UK. And when you go to Tops UK, just create an account. Look at these. This is this week, and they release every week. They could have like 6 to 7 cards a week. So look at this Jamal Musiala, $12. And I just go through here and look to see who I like and buy it. This guy just signed with Chelsea, so I might be getting this guy. So there's 5 a week. So Anthony Alonga. So
That'd be awesome if they did one where like last week Mokoku's 16 and then this week he's 23.
that bastard's gonna ruin me money. Good thing I didn't buy too much of him. Now people don't want to collect them.
You know, well, I mean that's a huge, huge difference.
Yeah. So I just
You know,
want
I will say I just got done booking Courtney's stuff to go to Culture Collision.
Mhm.
So if you're not if you're going to be in Atlanta for Culture Collision, make sure you stop and say what up to Court. She'll be flying in Friday, flying out Sunday. So really excited. She's going to be there representing, networking, Reckless Cards, and Too Thick Pod.
Yeah, we need to get something. If you DM us, we should get like something to give them of our like get a shirt, a couple shirts or something made.
That would be dope. We should do something like that.
I like it. And we just Courtney goes with the box of Too Thick. She would hate us.
Yeah. That first day when we were at the National, we did Women of the Hobby.
Yeah.
And like we walked in and it was like Cage, Adam Lefko, Lamine James, and like I was carrying like this much shit. Courtney was carrying like this much shit. They're trying to introduce us, and we're like, "Hey, you know what's going on? What's up? What's good? How you doing?" And I'm like, I swear I would never like lug shit through a convention center like that ever again. So her like maybe stuffing a couple shirts in a backpack or having something smaller to give away, sure. Lugging a box around to slang Too Thick t-shirts, nah, not happening.
Yeah, no, she would kill us. No, but it's cool. We need to get something because me and you are going to go to more shows. We're planning on going to more shows. We'll be at Mint. We will be at the National, of course, and the Shipshawana and probably Skylines, right? Try to be at those.
Skyline in mid-February will be there. Shipshawana. I know we're going to make it up to Dallas. Oh, it's shit. So anyway, I was talking about all that stuff earlier about money not moving, and you did a shit job keeping us on track too, by the way. But everything I've heard from Dallas is, man, it was awesome. People are spending money, a lot of buying, selling, trading. Are you hearing the same thing too?
Yes, and I'm like you said, I'm got FOMO up the ass because every time I get on YouTube, or Instagram, everyone's like, I got this trade, I bought this. On Twitter, you get Ryan saying that he spent like $30K on the first day of cards, and it's just Josh Allen's and a bunch of other. I know his friend, is it MGK or not MGK? That's Machine Gun Kelly. But he's buying like
MMK or something like that.
Yeah, he's buying like Jalen Brunson 1-of-1s. And I'm just sitting back like, oh, I want to be there so bad.
Yeah, you know, it was funny. I was laying in bed and I was telling Court, I'm like, man, I'm not a jealous person, and by no means am I jealous. But I'm like, I think I'm experiencing FOMO, man. I'm looking at my phone and it just looks like it's popping off, and it's like damn, I think I'm experiencing FOMO. And at that time, Storybook Cards or Roberto Galvez tweeted experiencing hardcore FOMO. And I was like, dude, you have no idea. And he's like, spring? And I'm like, yeah, I think we have to.
Oh yeah, we need to go. I want to go so bad. And also, it seems like the bigger shows are still popping, but it seems like there's more bigger shows, which towards the end of the year I feel like is going to hurt the shows in general.
Well,
Because
I think this is why this show does good is because there was nothing else major going on. I've already heard complaints. What is it, like March? Then
yep,
one weekend, there's like 3 or 4 prominent shows
yeah,
going on
it's
at the same time.
it's the Mint weekend. It's Mint, the Philly show, and then the Nashville show, all on the same weekend.
Hmm.
So
Well, we love Vegas and we've been looking to buy property in Vegas, so I'll be at Mint.
I'll be at Mint.
Where
So
can the kids where can the kids find us, sir?
the kids can find us on TikTok, on Instagram, on Twitter at Too Thick Pod. You could follow this handsome gentleman on Reckless Cards. I'm Manny being Manny 1.0. And if you're watching on YouTube and if you like this content, we are trying to get out 2 episodes a week and do some more little taste tests. Jeremy's gonna suck down some whatever he said, suckers or whatever. I don't know. He's into sucking, so he's gonna get some sucking taste tests going pretty soon.
We're trying to order the cum sauce, kid.
Yeah. He's got cum juice coming,
So,
and
so there's this bottle and it's like it looks like a Red Bull can and it
yeah,
looks like a used condom and it's called cum sauce and it says may or may not taste like pineapple. And I told Court, I'm like, can we do this on Too Thick Pod? And she's like, when have you ever been G rated? I'm like, F, good point. Good
yeah,
point.
exactly. So I can't wait to see you do that, and the chip as well. And shout out before I go, shout out to Flow Motion because I had to get some Flow Motion stuff from Breaking Wax. So if you're listening, thank you.
Yeah, I hope the Philippines are treating you well, brother. I'm excited. He's going to be jumping on. What is he like? Right around Valentine's Day, right?
We're gonna give him some special candy. So
There you go.
on that note, thank you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed your hobby release. And we'll talk to you soon. Peace.